Hello, YouTuber woobers. It's whatever day today is what today is. Thursday, first day of July. In this case, it's a quiz time. So I'm just doing an overview of my power system. This is my main panel. It's a 200 amp service. Came to the house that way. It's an amazing thing to have such a dinky house with a 200 amp service. But it does. And so there aren't a lot of circuits in there. You can see how that is. They're mostly all 220 breakers. We've got a generator plug on the outside. We've got the hot water tank on there. We've got a drop going to the weeds room, which this house used to be a trailer home, so they ended up running a sub panel over there. And there's something else there. There's a sub panel switch also for over here. And yeah, I think that's everything. I got two of them are on, the sub panel and my other sub panel. And the dryer, originally the dryer was going in the laundry room over here, but the hot water tank is so huge that putting the dryer in there didn't work. I had to put it over here, which meant running the power off the other panel, because there wasn't any good way of getting it overhead without someone crawling. Well, actually, there is no really good way to get it overhead, because there's a metal ceiling up above the ceiling, because this used to be a trailer. So over here we have a sub panel, and this panel has most of the circuits in the house, and they're on a transfer switch, which is right here. And this transfer switch will transfer between the generator and the grid. So if my failure goes out and I want to run it on a generator or on a other such panel, like an inverter, I would switch over to here and be able to run this panel here on that. Now, chances are I won't have enough power to run the whole panel on a 4,000 watt panel, but I could certainly get by in an emergency and run things like the refrigerators and the furnace, my computer, many of the lights, most of the lights, all the lights in the house are all LED. Some light outlets are still on the old panel, but there aren't too many. So as you can see, there are 5 breakers there that are on the old panel. So, and then the rest, and that's like, I don't know. But there aren't any refrigerators on this panel, and the heat's not on this panel. So that's my overview of this circuit here. There's a box down here. This was where the original well pump came through on. That was changed over and moved over into this panel over here. They didn't actually run the correct power from here. They used a 10-2 wire with the ground instead of a 10-3. And they had a panel that was stuck out in the yard where the pump house was, and they had a tank in the pump house, but the well was actually a submersible pump. And it was all rust. Everything out there was, everything above ground was rust, and plus the tank froze in the cold. So the tank is also in here, tucked away. I can show you quick. Laundry room. See, I got this big berth over here. This is a hybrid that has the exchange on the top, so it'll pull moist air out of the house and make hot water from it. And then the supplementary is using electric. And then over here in the corner is my water tank, instead of having that outside. Pump control is in here. So it makes for a whole nicer setup for it all. But there's not enough room in here to put a washer and a dryer in here and still be able to get in and out of the shower comfortably. I could do it, I suppose, but the problem is having it as a front loader. So if it was a top loader dryer, it would work, but of course they don't exist. So, do. We are on our way to the other panel. Do. Got mushrooms in. They've got to be bagged for the farmer's market. So this is the other power room, which is going to be my off-grid setup. And in here we have up here is a 50 amp plug that's for supplying this panel right here. This is where the generator transfer switch goes into, is this panel. And on this panel I have two breakers. One breaker goes to the plug outside, it's 30 ampere, and then the other one is a larger one that goes up here to a 50 amp plug that I have up here. So I could tie in, you know, my inverters to that plug and run off that. If I do an 8,000 watt inverter, I could tie into there and supply probably most of my power there. Now this panel down here is the secondary panel, and it actually was, this panel here was what was installed here, and we replaced it with this one. And there actually aren't a lot of circuits in there. Well, there are turned on at the moment. Then we also have, coming off of this panel, is this this little box right here. And this is in case I ever want to use a grid tie plug-in inverters. I can actually plug on to L1 and L2 and feed power back into the system with one of those, two of those, and one would go on each side. So I was trying to think different things to add on. Whether I'll use those or not, I'm not sure. This box over here in the corner is a this little box is a capacitor that's supposed to absorb fluctuations in the in-house grid. So when a motor like in the refrigerators kick on and off, it'll absorb it through there. So instead of drawing more power off the grid through the meter, it's supposed to take it out of that large capacitor. Whether it works or not, I don't know, but it's there. In fact, the LED should be on. I guess it's on. You can't really see it too well, but it is on. So the other thing, there are 4 more circuits in there. One is the dryer in the panel because I had to move it, and it's an electric dryer, of course. Then also I got 2 GFI circuits for my weeds room, because that's what all these outlets in this room for all my garden needs are all on GFIs, so no one gets shocked like me. And then the other 2 circuits is one for the overhead lights, and the other one is for circuits in the living room and the outside light. So that's what's in here. So I could do is separate the dryer off of this panel and then run this panel with a PIP. I'm looking at the MPP PIP inverter and bring it in here and just be able to run here. I mean, if I could just run, you know, all my lights in here, that could probably take a good chunk off my electric bill. I'm not sure if the dryer was going to run on that panel that way or not. I'd have to think about that. Anybody out there that has any ideas, let me know. 4,000 watts is like 25 amps, 220, which would probably handle everything but the dryer. So I might have to separate the dryer off of this panel and run it into something else. But I guess that's doable, sort of. It's just a pain in the ass. But, and then, so outside, you see videos of my power shack out there where the generator is. But all my DC stuff is out there. So probably the PIP is going to go in here because I don't think it's really outdoor moisture ready. So it's probably going to go in here on the wall, and the transformer, of course, it's going to have to go in here on the wall. So I just thought I'd share. Anybody has any thoughts, prayers, or anything, you feel free to make a comment down below, like everybody says. Like, subscribe, share. Well, don't share it. I don't want people to know what I'm doing. But like and comment if you wish. Ta-ta!